Hey everyone, welcome to I Totally Love It. My name is Susan, and today I'm here to work on part 2 of my November Junk Journal Madness Journal. Once again, the theme is Roaring Twenties, and my guest collaborator is Steph from Steph's Design Space. Her channel is linked below. Make sure you go check out her video. Her journal is already looking great. So I thought I'd bring you along to show you what I've been working on so far. Like I said in the last video, I'm already starting to think about the closure before I've even sewn in my signature. So what I've done is I've put in one eyelet here in the front. And for now, I'm just using some baker's twine, but I think I'm going to change that. And this gives me the ability to change it. But I have this button. It is a, oh, I could have told you what it was called, what kind those are. It'll come to me in a little bit. But um, that gives this the opportunity to loop around and, you know, clip on it or go around it like that, loop it. So that'll be my closure. But I think I'm going to try to get some of the kind of stretchy elastic stuff cord so that as this gets bulkier, we can stretch it. Maybe, but I might, can also just keep this baker's twine. I have more of it, so if I need a longer piece, we can do that. And boy, I'm really trying hard to remember this. It starts with an S. Anyways, I got a jar of, here, I'll show you. I didn't show this in any hauls, but my daughter and I went to, twice a year, we have a vintage flea market, and she and I went, and so she bought me this jar of vintage buttons for $6, as you can see. And I poured half of it into my little container. I still have so much room. So hang on, this pink tool is getting in my way. Don't need that for anything right now. So anyways, it was in that jar, and I thought, oh, that's fun. That'll be part of her story as we're writing this. Okay. So what else am I going to do to the journal? So I've thought about it, and I thought about a monogram. I came across something and it triggered a monogram, and I thought, well, put a monogram on the front. So I've created this freebie. These are they should be like 3.5 inches square. And then I've got some images here. These are all AI generated. They're freebies in my coffee shop. I made all of these, I believe, with Canva. So, but my printer, I've cleaned the cartridge heads 3 times now. I still get these. I don't know if you can see the lines in that picture. So I printed it twice. This is what it originally looked like. Those were too big. So I shrunk them down, and I added a third monogram. So my character, her name starts with a B, so I thought that would be fun to do. So I'm going to use this one on the front, but I thought, well, that's kind of, doesn't stand out. So then I cut some chipboard, and I'm going to glue that to the chipboard, and then the chipboard to that, I think. And I'm trying to decide if I want to. I think because of the strap, I think I'm going to put it up higher. Plus, notebooks tend to have their little like composition notebooks and whatnot. They tend to have that towards the top. So I'm going to do that. That'll get glued on there. This will come across. And still trying to remember this button. I know you guys are all screaming at me. I keep wanting to say stanchion because I watch another guy. He says stanchion. Anyways, it's a button with a post on it. It'll come to me. All right, so I want to make an ID card. This is obviously a little too big, and it has streaks through it, so it's not going to work for me for this purpose, but she does look an awfully lot like this gal. This gal comes from the Tim Holtz little strips where they have like 3 or 4 pictures. They look like photo booth, and that might be what it's called, photo booth. So here we go. Here she is. So we're going to create an ID card for her. Her name. Her name is Beulah. I googled. So she'd be in her 20s. So I googled popular names from the 1890s because I would have her born, um, mid to late 1890s ish. Um, and Beulah was on that list. There was a lot of names. I'm kind of obsessed with names. I have been in the past. Anyways, and I thought, oh, that's a fun name. So she is going to be Beulah. She has a whole name. We'll get to that later. But I need to make an ID card. And before in my last journal, when I did that nature study, there was a like a pocket or something there to put the ID card in. I think I kind of want to do something similar. That would kind of cover up that little bit right there. And I still need to do something though here because this is kind of, while it's kind of tough material, it's still flimsy, I guess is the word I'm looking for. So we need to do something to stabilize that more. And yep, I'm still trying to think of what that word is. I had it until I started the video. Oh, okay. I'll keep thinking about it. Shank button. I finally thought of what it was. All right, a shank button. So that type of button with like a little loop on it. It's called a shank button. All right, guys, I'm about to throw this computer out the window and kick it when I do. I had a great conversation going with you, showing you what I was doing, but then also maybe you don't get to see the mistake I made. So I glued my monogram on here. So I did ink with Vintage Photo Distress Oxide because that's the one I have. I don't have any Distress inks in that. I used the Aleene's clear gel tacky glue to put the whole thing onto the folder. I did use Barely Art to put this onto the chipboard. All right, and then this is the part you missed. So I have this paper that's like craft paper and it comes perforated like that. And anyways, I had it right, but when I had it like this, I was like, oh no, I did it wrong. How did I do it wrong? I didn't do it wrong. I did it right. I just had it flipped over. Anyways, it was a whole conversation. I put this in the front and the back, like that. It does make it sturdier, so that's nice. Okay, so need to create a ID card for Beulah. So we'll need to come up with some facts about her. Probably need to draw some lines. Let me check my stamps real quick. Okay, I've pulled out all the stamps I think I could use in this journal. It's a lot, I know. Some of it too, I was just getting it out because I was continuing to look. So what I've done is I've taken my digital that had the lines come through the picture, and I've just cut out, I believe it's 3.5 long, 2.5 inches tall, and I've rounded the corners. I did trim off the like photo edges of the photo, and I think that's what we're going to go with right there. And of course we'll age this up a little bit. So I pulled out all the things I have with lines. I have this from Joann's. It's been about it was March 2024, I think. It was in the clearance section, a little planner, like a bullet journal planner thing. So that has lines. I got this from Goodwill. They're like if you're moving and you're making your own, cards to send saying you're moving. Got those lines. This is Globeland. I was looking for, some of these are out because I was looking for identification stamps. I do not have one. I have a lot of registered stamps, a lot of numbers, but I do not have one that says identification. I even kind of thought this one might, but it does not. I have the Crafty by Tony stamps. I have this one and this one, but alas, neither one has the identification. I believe that was a newer set that she came out with. This is, oh, I don't have the numbers, but these are like like in the first 4. And when I went to order, these are the only 2 I could get, so I didn't even get all those. And of course, she released the other ones, and now we can't get them here in the States until, you know, tariffs are lifted and stuff. This does have date signature on it. But it also has some things with lines, so I could use that. But she actually had one specific for that she made for identification cards. This is Kathy Holden, Flea Market Finds, and this one has inspected. Some of these might be good for, because, you know, Beulah works in an office and she mostly types, but I guess she's kind of like a secretary. This is Sam Poole from Creative Expressions. This is Dates from the Past Part 2, and I have Part 1, which was the original. A lot of that is French, though, and the dates, a lot of them are earlier. There is a 1925, so there's 1927. That's written, well, both of those are written in French. So is November. Oh, that'd been perfect for this week. All right. Same here at 1922 and April 29. Okay, so I'll have to handwrite that, but I don't mind that. And this one did not. Well, this has registered, but I don't think I want to use that. So I think what I'm going to go with are possibly, do I want these three lines? It's a little long. Let's just take it off of there. It's actually 4 lines. Well, the picture would be over top of some of the line. I could put down washi tape, so it just stamps right where I want. I feel like that's not straight. This might be kind of hard to do. I really need to come in from this side because the bottom was. Craft-A-Lanch. Still feel like it's not straight. Maybe it's just me. Maybe it's the top. Maybe it's your imagination. Maybe it's the way she's sitting. I think it's her shoulder. Maybe that makes it look off center, and that makes it look wonky going that way. Anyways, okay. Now that we've shaved a couple hairs off. All right, so I'll use the back of this to test it out. I could use these lines, but these are a little closer together and they're not as long. These dotted lines right here are good. All right, I think I want to try this first. So let's stamp here. Okay, I went with the one with, we've moved. I did a little practice. I named her Beulah Rose Danner. Her birthday is April 23rd, 1898. So I did a little practice, with my pen. It's drying right now, but I put some washi tape so that the lines would not go to the, to the edge. So let's peel that up real quick. I did ink all over. And I did glue this down. And I feel like I want a long line here. So I think what I'm going to do is turn it. This will be a line for her signature. Okay. Let's try it for just a quick second. Okay. So I'm going to put her name, top line. I'm going to print Beulah Rose Danner. I'm going to put her address next. 17. Totally made this up, so if this place exists, it's just coincidence. I just picked Adams because he was the second president. John Adams. Good luck. All right, 17 Adams Street, and then Rahway, New Jersey, because that's just a name I'm familiar with. She looks like she lives on the East Coast. Now, if I had a little typewriter, I probably would type this. All right, so let's put her date of birth here. I'll put 23rd April 1898. We'll put underneath this is date of birth. Okay, so now I want to practice her name. I did write it there, but I was trying to squeeze it in. So let's see if I have a little bit more space. Beulah Rose Danner. Okay, here we go. Here we go, Beulah Rose. One day I'll get a little identification stamp because that would be nice to have that up there. And I could lower the picture a little bit, then I wouldn't have this big gap down here. But if I can come across a little sticker or something, let's see if I, or a little something something. I have some little things. That's a button. Forgot I had those beads there. But if I come across a little something, probably red, that I can just glue there. I probably have some blue stuff. I don't necessarily want. I mean, blue's not bad. I really want a circle, not a. It's too big, anyways. It's too big. These things are going to be too Too large and in charge here. These are, right? That's still too big. These are Michelle, Junk Journal Studio. But next time I find something, it's a button. There's another one in there. I do have the little stamps. I don't know. Those stamps might be too big though, because here, did I just have one? No. Maybe that was on the other layer. That's too big. Let's see. That says coupon number. We don't want that. That's small. Found another button. I think those buttons are Care Brandon buttons. Well, I have, oh, that's probably too big. So are the Roman numerals. That's too late. It's too long. Maybe there's a stamp that has a number. Let me look. Okay, I found this stamp right here, even though it does say room number, it does say pass on it. Let's see that right there in the top corner. So I think I'm going to use that. I'm going to use Distress Oxide Lumberjack Plaid, and I'm going to test it over here. That's okay. Ta-da! That's exactly what it needed. I mean, we're not looking for legit stuff right now anyways, are we? All right, let me clean up real quick. All right, guys, I think it turned out great. And I want you to keep in mind as I'm doing this, this is kind of like Beulah's junk journal. Like she made this back in the late 20s to remember the 20s. And so like this might have been her ID card from back then. So, you know, this is a little crooked, but that's all right because she made it. The button has a story, shank button. The button has a story. Everything in here, you know, is going to have a story and a part of her story. Of course, it's going to be completely fabricated by me. So I hope you'll come along. You'll have to wait till the end of the series, the end of the month, when I do the final flip through for the story. But, you know, I'll share little bits along the way. All right, guys. Well, I appreciate you and your time. Don't forget to go visit Stephanie. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And thank you to all of you who are joining in. I'm trying to keep up with your videos. You're doing a great job. And there is a playlist of all the participants. Whenever I come across your videos, I do try to find them and put them in the playlist. So if you find your videos missing from the playlist, reach out to me. I'll make sure I get it in there. All right, guys. I appreciate you and your time. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I already said that, so I'm repeating myself. All right, guys. I'll see you in the next one. Until then, bye-bye.